Jacob Grinberg's exploration of mind and consciousness unveiled a truth that has existed since the dawn of time, an interconnected field where all things merge as one. This sacred unity is not something that can be found by searching outward or waiting for divine intervention from above. Rather, it is a homecoming, a return to the inner wisdom that has always been within you. Just as the ocean does not seek the waves because they are already part of it, so too does your spirit not need to chase the divine. It is woven into the very fabric of your being. For generations, humanity has been given a lens that distorts this truth, teaching us that the divine resides far beyond reach, in sacred texts, temples, or distant heavens. Society reinforces the belief that power, fulfillment, and purpose are external pursuits, granted by something beyond ourselves. But what if we have been looking in the wrong direction? What if the divine is not a force to be summoned, but a presence to be remembered? Imagine a traveler searching the world for a rare gem, unaware that it has always been sewn into the lining of their coat. What they seek was never separate. It was only unnoticed. The same is true for the divine spark within you. Rather than perceiving the universe as a vast emptiness, consider it a living symphony where each thought, feeling, and action sends ripples across an infinite sea of energy. Just as a musician shapes melodies through vibrations, you shape your reality through the frequency of your mind. Every word you speak, every intention you set, is an act of creation. This is not magic or wishful thinking. It is the natural law of existence. The tree does not ask for permission to grow. It simply aligns with the sun and soil and fulfills its purpose. You, too, are not meant to plead for power. You are meant to awaken to it. You are not the source of creation itself, yet you are an extension of it, infused with its creative potential. Why then should you address the divine as if it were distant? Why speak with the voice of lack when you can speak with the voice of knowing? Speaking like God does not mean placing yourself above others. It means embracing the authority of your own divinity. It is not about demanding, but about declaring, standing in alignment with the truth that has always been. Imagine a child raised in royalty, unaware of their inheritance, walking among beggars, believing themselves to be one of them. The moment they recognize who they truly are, they no longer need to beg. Their authority was never given, it was merely realized. Likewise, to speak like God is to speak from a place of certainty, where faith is not a hope for the future, but a knowing of what already is. There exists a voice within you, one that does not tremble in uncertainty or seek validation from the outside world. This voice does not bargain, nor does it cry out in desperation. It is a quiet yet profound force, whispering reminders of your abundance, your worth, your infinite nature. But to hear it, you must first unlearn the belief that you are separate or incomplete. A bird does not doubt the sky, it simply soars. What if you, too, were never lacking, only unaware of your wholeness? What if everything you have sought has been patiently waiting for you to notice? The act of speaking like the divine is not about filling the air with words. It is about standing in the power of deep knowing. True power does not shout, it resonates. It is not found in excessive noise, but in the clarity of silence. Imagine standing in an ancient forest where the trees have been rooted for centuries. They do not struggle to prove their existence, nor do they demand recognition. They simply are. In the same way, your connection to the divine is not something that must be earned or justified. It simply is. The moment you let go of the illusion of separation, you step into the fullness of your being. This is where clarity emerges, not from external approval, but from the stillness of presence. Reflect on those rare moments in life where words became unnecessary. where the mere presence of a loved one, the beauty of nature, or the depths of meditation conveyed more than language ever could. In these moments, the divine was not something you reached for. It was something you experienced, effortlessly and profoundly. This is the essence of divine communication, not an act of seeking, but an act of remembering. Just as a river does not search for water because it is water, you do not need to search for the divine. It is already within you, flowing through every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of existence. The ability to shape and transform your reality does not belong to a chosen few. It is the birthright of every soul. Speaking like God is not about imitating, it is about awakening. When you recognize that your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are the tools of creation, you step into the role of a conscious architect of your life. You are not separate from the divine. You are an expression of it, a living testament to the infinite. And within that realization lies your greatest power. Imagine stepping into a life where every word you speak, every thought you hold, and every action you take is infused with the resonance of divine truth. To speak like God is not about adopting a lofty or mystical tone. It is an act of pure alignment, a state where your being vibrates in harmony with the boundless creative energy flowing through you. This is where true transformation begins. When your inner world aligns with the higher frequencies of love, clarity, and conviction, life ceases to be a struggle of force and becomes a dance of flow. The impossible dissolves, not because external forces shift at your command, but because your internal world has moved into its rightful state of coherence. But how do you achieve this alignment? Consider a sculptor approaching a block of marble. If their vision is unclear or their hands unsteady, the masterpiece within remains trapped. Similarly, your mind is the sculptor of your reality, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are the tools with which you carve your experience. If your words speak of abundance, but your emotions are steeped in scarcity, you create contradiction rather than clarity. If you wish to bring harmony into your life, every part of you, your thoughts, feelings, and actions, must be tuned to the same frequency. This is the essence of divine alignment. You do not need to force the universe to respond. You only need to attune yourself to the flow that has always been present. Achieving this state begins with deep self-awareness. Ask yourself, do my thoughts reflect the reality I want to create? Are my emotions reinforcing my vision, or are they rooted in old fears and doubts? When discord arises, recognize it as an opportunity, not a failure. Just as a musician fine-tunes their instrument before playing in an orchestra, you must continually fine-tune your inner state. Speaking like God is not about the literal words you use. It is about the energetic imprint they carry. Words spoken from a place of fear lack the power of those spoken from certainty. The same phrase can create vastly different realities depending on whether it is uttered in doubt or in knowing. The universe does not respond merely to the surface of your speech. It aligns itself with the depth of your energy. Imagine someone making a wish upon a star, their heart filled with uncertainty and hesitation. Now imagine another person, standing firm in conviction, declaring their truth without fear. It is not the external act that determines the outcome, but the energy behind it. The divine is not a separate force waiting to grant favors. It is an active presence within you, responding to the frequency you emit. You do not need to beg for alignment. You simply need to remember that you are already one with it. To speak like God is to embrace the responsibility of creation. You are not a bystander in your own life. You are the artist shaping the masterpiece. This realization is both liberating and demanding, for it requires you to examine and transform your limiting beliefs. When challenges arise, do not see them as obstacles meant to break you, but as invitations to elevate your consciousness. Ask yourself, am I reacting from fear, or am I responding from my divine nature? Instead of resisting difficulties, approach them as opportunities to refine your alignment. A river does not stop at a rock, it flows around it, reshaping its course without resistance. Similarly, when you shift from struggle to flow, obstacles begin to lose their grip, not because the external world changes overnight, but because your internal world no longer sees them as barriers. The greatest test of divine alignment is how you respond when life does not unfold as expected. In those moments, resist the urge to blame external circumstances. Instead, turn inward and ask, am I truly aligned with what I desire? Am I speaking from a place of faith, or am I reinforcing fear? These questions serve as a compass, guiding you back to your center. Power does not come from controlling what is outside of you, but from mastering what is within. The more you align, the less you need to force. Your very presence begins to shape reality with effortless grace. In the end, speaking like God is not about theatrical proclamations or outward displays of grandeur. It is about quiet certainty. It is about moving through life with the awareness that you are a co-creator, not a victim. It is about recognizing that the divine is not a distant force, but an active presence within you. When you live in this truth, your words no longer come from a place of desperation. They arise from a deep knowing. You no longer chase power. You embody it. Think back to the moments in your life when no words were needed, when a simple glance, a deep silence, or a shared presence spoke more profoundly than language ever could. Those moments were glimpses of the divine, not as something external, but as something deeply familiar. To access this truth is not about searching for what is missing. It is an act of remembering. Just as a melody is not separate from the instrument that plays it, you are not separate from the cosmic symphony. You are a living note, vibrating in the infinite song of creation. And when you finally align with that music, you do not need to force your voice to be heard. The universe listens because you are already in harmony with it. The ability to shape and transform your life is not an external gift waiting to be bestowed upon you. It is a truth that has always lived within. You are not separate from creation. You are an active participant in it. To speak like God is not to imitate some distant force, but to awaken to the profound realization that your words, emotions, and intentions are the very tools with which you shape your reality. Just as a seed already contains the blueprint for a mighty tree, so too does your soul carry within it the infinite potential to manifest, transform, and create. When you recognize this truth, you stop searching outside yourself and begin cultivating the power already present within. Now, imagine living from this awareness. Imagine that every word you speak, every thought you hold, and every feeling you embrace becomes a sacred act of alignment. Speaking like God is not about volume or force. It is about harmony, bringing every aspect of your being into resonance with the divine essence that flows through you. This is where transformation occurs. It is not magic, nor is it luck. It is the natural outcome of energetic alignment. When your mind, emotions, and actions vibrate in unison with the truth of your divine nature, what once seemed impossible begins to unfold with effortless grace. Life ceases to be a chaotic series of struggles and instead becomes an orchestration of intentional creation. But how do you reach this state of alignment? Picture your consciousness as the conductor of an orchestra, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs as the musicians composing the symphony of your existence. If one instrument is out of tune, the entire melody suffers. If your thoughts envision success, but your emotions vibrate with fear, doubt, or hesitation, then your creation lacks harmony. True alignment is not about forcing a desired outcome. It is about ensuring that every part of you resonates with the frequency of what you wish to bring into being. This requires deep self-awareness. Ask yourself, do my thoughts reflect the life I wish to create? Are my emotions rooted in trust, or do they waver in uncertainty? Each moment of discord is not a failure but an opportunity, an invitation to realign and retune the instruments of your inner symphony. Speaking like God is not simply about words, it is about the energy behind them. The universe does not respond to empty affirmations, it responds to the authenticity of your vibration. Imagine two individuals speaking the same words. One speaks with hesitation, hoping their desires will manifest. The other speaks with unwavering faith, knowing their creation is already in motion. The difference is not in the words themselves, but in the certainty behind them. This is why speaking like God is not about pleading or asking. It is about declaring, knowing that the moment you align, the response is already set into motion. Your vibration is the prayer, and in the resonance of certainty, that prayer is answered before the words have even left your lips. There is no true separation between the seeker and the source. The one who asks and the one who answers are both expressions of the same divine intelligence. To recognize this is to step into your power as a creator. This realization is liberating, yet it also calls you to responsibility. You are not merely an observer of life, you are an architect of it. Every belief you hold, every intention you set, and every action you take is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. This awareness is empowering, yet it also requires deep inner work. Transformation does not occur by simply wishing for change. It requires you to dismantle old fears, rewrite limiting beliefs, and replace them with a knowing that aligns with your highest self. Obstacles, then, are not barriers but divine lessons. They are mirrors reflecting where alignment is still needed. When challenges arise, pause and ask, am I responding from fear or am I acting from my divine essence? Just as a river does not resist the rocks in its path but flows around them, you too can move beyond limitations by shifting your perspective. The moment you stop fighting against what is and start aligning with what can be, the obstacles begin to dissolve. Not because the external world changes instantly, but because your perception of it has transformed. And when life does not unfold as expected, resist the temptation to blame outside forces. Instead, turn inward and ask, am I truly aligned? Am I speaking from a place of fear, or am I speaking as the divine creator that I am? In this act of self-awareness, you reclaim your power and realign with your highest potential. In the end, speaking like God is not about making grand statements or seeking validation. It is about living with intentionality, clarity, and unwavering alignment. It is about remembering that you are not separate from the divine, but are a reflection of it. When you embrace this truth, you no longer need to push, force, or struggle. Your very presence carries the power of creation. Think back to the times in your life when no words were necessary. When a simple presence, a deep silence, or a feeling of absolute certainty spoke louder than language ever could. Those moments were not coincidences. They were glimpses of divine alignment. The truth has never been lost. It only needed to be remembered. Just as the sun does not need to be told to shine, you do not need to force yourself to be divine. You simply need to awaken to the truth that you already are. When you step into this realization, you no longer speak to the universe. You speak as the universe. And when you do, the universe listens.